This little talking to describes what the Erev Rav is about. They primarily work through deception, and what I'm going to get into now is the Erev Rav that Moshe took out of Egypt when God told him not to, and he took them as converts, but the newsflash is they never converted. And the Erev Rav is a mixture of Esav and Yishmael, and they're basically five types of leaders of the Erev Rav. I mean, I might as well teach you since nobody else is, upon request, right? The five categories are Nephilim, Giborim, Anakim, Rephaim, and Amalekites. Keep in mind, Amalekites is who God wages war on eternally, which is written in the Bible, the original Bible, not the changed one. Amalekites is basically all five categories, which is considerably the worst. And so now we got all five categories. The Nephilim, basically, from what I know, speaks of what's called the fallen ones, cohabiting with certain types of women, which I'm not going to get into, but the point is here that this is how it all started with the Nephilim. The Giborim are basically, it says of them that they're mighty ones, men of great name, and they come from the side of those who said, come let us build a city and make a name for ourselves. And how do they do this? They build synagogues, they hold yeshivas, places, that has Torah scrolls in them, all kinds of Torah things, and they're compared to the generation that said, let us make a name for ourselves, which is build towers of Babel and wage war in heaven, wage war on God. So this is the way they do it. The Rephaim are ones who are known to abandon Israel. And by the way, the five leaders are the ones that are actually injected into the Jewish nation, which caused these unnecessary klipot to be broken inside of the Jewish people. So the Rephaim are the ones who abandon Israel. They're referred to as the weak ones. Basically, when they see Israel in trouble, they won't come through, and they neglect the Torah and people who learn it, people who basically, the types of people who look at religious people, Jewish ones of course, legit ones, and think it's okay to just spit on them in their heads, and they like to say, hey, you're religious, be a finished off one, kind of like somebody who, the word here in Russian, which puts it great, is be конченый, which is messed up. They're basically there for you when you don't need them. When you really do need them, they abandon you, they leave you in trouble, and they like to see you go. The next category is the Anakim, which is there to be put on the same par as the Rephaim. They want to bring the world back to a state of void, emptiness, more like a confusion and chaotic state. Basically, a good example is, let's say you build something great, right? Restaurants of high esteem, glorious places, maybe halls that crown champions there, kind of like Michael Phelps, honorable champions. And basically, a good example is Hasidim, probably, who would say, we don't need places like this or whatever. They like to take all that glory down and all that beauty and all that sparkle out and make you feel void, empty, kind of like make you feel like shit, really. So that's a great example of it. And Amalek is basically, a great example is people who commit such grave evil, right? And they want to change. And Amalek, whoever Amalek is, they weren't a part of that, let's say, for example, right? But most likely they'll say, you know what, now that this guy left this evil, I'd like to continue it, even though I had nothing to do with it. It's so easy to leave. And Amalekites are the ones who sacrifice themselves in order to destroy Israel. They're self-sacrifice to destroy Israel. That's all it is. Basically, their hearts are against God. These are not men. Sure, they're human, men decent, but these are not men at all. And there are 5 different types of the Erev Rav. 1, those that create strife and evil talk, which is called Lashon Hara in Hebrew. They basically like to cause arguments for no reason, divorced couples, things like that. They do these things to basically wreck lives. 2, those who pursue their desires vainly. I mean, like Proverbs says, a desire attained is a tree of life, Mishle. But there are those who do things the wrong way, and they pursue things the wrong way, which drives everybody else astray to do the same thing. They try to influence them to their own way. Why? Because it's part of their desires negatively, instead of using it the right way. 3, people who pretend to be righteous, of course, they're not straight people. They only pretend to be straight. They try to look righteous, kind of like people like Laser Brody, who has everybody fooled. Don't worry, before redemption, Laser Brody, everybody's going to know. I mean, things come out, man. Lots of fakes who dress and they try to walk the walk, but they always copy righteous people. They always try to make them look bad. They always try to slander them. They always try to make everybody turn against them. And who gets the highest judgment? Righteous people. For anything small. But you know what, folks? The people who really deserve the highest judgment on every little detail are these mother effers right there. The Erev Rav. I mean, they cause you to judge righteous people and cause you to hate and anger and all that stuff and say, why are you doing this? By the time a righteous person finishes explaining himself, there's a whole lot of big trouble that real professionals have to deal with in finding out what the hell those asswads caused, who were not righteous people, who are posers as righteous people. 4, those who pursue honor and build great synagogues, for example, to make a big name for themselves. These are categorized as the powerful ones, by the way. That's the biggest trouble to Israel itself. 5, those who pursue money and aggression in life. Aggression for money is more like it. So basically, this is the main summary. As the Torah says, the Erev Rav delays the redemption more than any nation in the world, and is the Erev Rav that's going to be exterminated, and anybody who supports them is just as guilty. As the Torah says, Moshiach ben Yosef and Moshiach ben David will be the ones who fight the Erev Rav, and you know what? Like I say, I think everybody else should say, I fight them on a daily basis, one way or the other, which is internally, externally, with my mouth, any which way I can. Everybody should have a part of this by doing their jobs the right way. I mean, a plan never works when you say, I'll do it. If I can't do it, then nobody else will do it, or I'm out. It doesn't work that way. Dismantling the Erev Rav is bringing good people together. Kind of like icons, great names, good people. Bringing them all into one, you produce a hell of an impact. So, Erev Rav, from a Jew like me, I say to you, you're in for a big surprise by real Jews. Ain't od milvado, there's nothing besides God.